Hello, dear friends. Once the storm passes, you want to remember how you made it, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure if the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same human being you went in. That's what this storm is all about. Opinion piece. Not today, tomorrow. What about mine? Tomorrow never dies. You come back tomorrow. Announcements and disappointments. Today you don't trust, tomorrow you will. The winds of change are blowing. The awakening of humankind. Predictions of the near future. Light will win this puzzle. Julian versus Gregorian calendar. This looks like the fall of the Berlin Wall. A soldier reveals secret space missions. Space tourism would put an end to flat Earth theory. Let's start. I don't like to be a prophet because trying to guess the future, with or without a crystal ball, is like putting your feet in quicksand. But many prophetic messages are coming out from other authors that are very interesting for the information they provide. So I will summarize them without taking sides for any of them, so that each human being can draw his own conclusions, trying to filter the part of truth or lie that may be in each one. About the alleged shutdowns, I do not expect all systems to be inactive. I do not expect energy to be reduced. We are told that if there are any shutdowns, it would be a zone-bound process, depending on the areas to be shut down. They say that part of the confusion comes from the struggle of the Julian calendar followed by the coalition versus the Gregorian calendar followed by the dark side. Thus, November 11th in the Julian calendar would be equivalent to November 24th in the Gregorian calendar, which is precisely today. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII corrected the solar year of the Julian calendar by means of the Val Inter Gravissimus. Since then, the new calendar was called the Gregorian calendar in his honor, and it is the one current use in Western countries. Until the Gregorian Val, the Julian calendar was used, which was established after the reform of Julius Caesar, after whom it is named. It was established in 45 before Christ and was in general use for 16 centuries. The tomorrow that doesn't come. I'm not going to start with Judy Bington because she has been announcing for years that tomorrow the three wise men from the east are coming. But camels are known to be very slow because tomorrow never comes and is constantly postponed. There are magic words that are wearing out from being used so much, just like love. The word God was worn out by the priests who abused it so much to impose their authority. I prefer to talk about the Creator. But the same could be said about the readjustment of currencies, the financial reset, the QFS system, emergency transmission system, etc. Speculation abounds and evidence is lacking, although this doesn't mean that everything is false, as some skeptics think. According to White Plush 347, on Sunday, the 21st, and Monday, the 22nd, there was to be a global financial reset by a black swan event that would cause a global market crash and a new financial system. But the swan didn't come, perhaps because the swans in North Korea are being eaten from hunger in the autumn cold. According to Yplash 347, Parus tweeted on Sunday, in quotes, "My fellow citizens, the storm is upon us, and then we will go into full martial law," close quotes. But at the moment, there is no visible storm. Prominent intelligence individuals provide us with their internal military sources, in quotes, who gives us nothing but continuous excuses for delays and then ramble on. I can understand the smoke screens, I can understand the chess game and disinformation that is going on to mislead the opposition. I understand that there is a lot going on underground and above ground. Does all the delay and lack of action imply more than the white hats would not be as powerful as we are led to believe? I have heard these things are progressing, and that we should receive news of completion before the end of this month or of this year, as they move slowly and cautiously. The news would be positive, but live your life and keep doing what you should until this happens. Come back tomorrow. The historical phrase, "come back tomorrow," was made fashionable by the Spanish romantic journalist Mariano José de Larra, who committed suicide because of a heartbreak in love. I guess it is no big deal, because most of us have a collection of pumpkins in our closets. Larra criticized the slowness of bureaucracy 2 centuries ago, and the Spanish habit of extending deadlines. For Larra, laziness was the capital sin of the Spaniards and the origin of the country's ills, but apparently we Spaniards are not the only ones to have this defect, which seems to be universal. Above all, bureaucracy in Spanish-speaking countries seems to have been established to humiliate the public, said Pío Baroja, famous writer. Bureaucracy is inefficient administration because of red tape, rigidity, and superfluous formalities, as well as the excessive influence of officials in public affairs. But this reproach is not only directed at those at the bottom, but also at the invisible ones at the top. Since no one has a monopoly on good or evil, but rather it is something that is widely distributed, that is what makes our world so complicated. It is not like in classic Hollywood movies, where the good guys and the bad guys are clearly defined, although in modern movies this division has become more blurred. Although the bad guys are becoming more and more defined when they come out of the closet. Prophecies for today. Coach Wes Basti said the financial restart would begin today, Wednesday, November 24th, according to his sources, which included a 30-year Pentagon veteran, a contact on the top floor of Treasury, a general, an admiral, and a contact at the Rodriguez Trust. Also, November 24th was the default date for the Chinese real estate giant Evergrande that could cause massive global financial chaos. It was even said that the sunspot would wipe out the internet on Wednesday, November 24th. In the end, they don't know whether to blame the sun or the Chinese. If I were to look up prophecies for today, the list would be endless. The so-called sticks of God, media takeover, buildings falling down, power outages, Tesla's switch to free energy, blocking public transportation, Bitcoin servers shutting down, nuclear sirens, stock market crash, martial law, etc. This is to go crazy with just much contradictory news as is coming out. Signs and signals. China IO1 Group's dollar bonds fell on Tuesday, November 23rd, as a report that the company defaulted on the trust loan reignited concerns about stress among Chinese developers. India is on the verge of banning cryptocurrencies and regulating asset-backed digital currency. The US collapse in Afghanistan encouraged Russia and China to act in Ukraine and Taiwan. The Taliban has banned the screening of TV serials and other programs featuring women in Afghanistan. The Chinese military is ready for a full-scale invasion on Taiwan. Russia's stock market falls rapidly as today's opening. This follows a massive sell-off due to the Kremlin's possible military escalation in Eastern Europe. Russia is prepared to launch a winter invasion of Ukraine. Russian state TV claimed last night that Moscow's anti-satellite missiles could destroy 32 NATO satellites and blind all their missiles, planes and ships. Global cyber attacks. In the UK, Sky broadband customers received a warning from hackers with the launch of Sky. Millions of Sky customers could have been exposed to hackers for months. Barclays confirms closure of 6 banks in Wales by early 2022. Santander Bank outages. Hundreds in the UK report that their banking services are down. Millions of citizens are on the streets around the world. Postponed to March. The freshest information I have, and perhaps the most reliable, is the one just sent to me by Commander Tolkien Sirius of the Order of Melchizedek, whom I thank for his courtesy, who once participated in a channel trip to Hollow Earth that I summarized in another video. 3 days ago, the commander asked those above and below why the telecommunications blackout had not yet occurred, and the response of these beings was that they had to attend to some emergencies on certain telluric and volcanic movements produced by the dark side, and that it had been a top priority to resolve that issue, and adds the following paragraph, in quotes, 2 paragraphs. Now that it is under control, I talked about today's situation. The message we were given on that trip to the Hollow Earth was actually heard by different races, star nations, as we have checked, with other channelers from different parts of the world, who did tell them that they received that message and all it, but due to that setback, it had been postponed to this end of the year, beginning of the other, or at the latest March 2022. To me personally, adds the commander, in the channeling 3 days ago, they gave me some planetary coordinates indicating what part of the planet they are from, and they showed me that the site is an extremely seismic place, and that it could be the beginning of the cutting of communications from certain continents due to the telluric movement. Well, close quotes. Well, thank you for your attention, Commander, and I remain open to any information you deem appropriate to send me to update the situation. Rebellion. The Western world is in revolt against the ruling class, according to Benjamin Fulford. A massive attack against the dark side is taking place in most Western countries. This is seen in mass demonstrations and criminal prosecutions in Italy, Australia, Austria, Switzerland, Brussels, etc. It looks very much like what happened just before the fall of the Berlin Wall in Eastern Europe. The pattern is the same. The ruling class increases repression of the population, faced with bankruptcy and popular revolt. This creates a negative feedback loop by causing increasing discontent until the people are joined by the uniformed. How dare the World Economic Forum write our own future? The World Economic Forum recently organized a meeting called Grand Narrative, which founder Klaus Schwab described as a powerful catalyst, in quotes, of course, for shaping the contours of a more prosperous future for humankind. Global elites are trying to shape our future, but they don't seem to understand that this is not how it works in a free society. We should be thinking about the narrative and the future we want, not what they want. We should write our own future based on the history of the generations of free citizens that came before us. The Nuremberg 2.0 trials have begun. A team of 1,000 lawyers and 10,000 experts has started the Nuremberg Trial 2 against world leaders for alleged crimes against humankind. The time has come. The time has come, according to Saint Germain, through Caroline Oceana Ryan. This time has come, and humankind will now experience it at greater and greater levels. What I talked about are the parallel experiences of the light and the dark now traveling through the Earth's experience at great speed, and we say a great pace, for the acceleration and increase in the power of the light will only continue. The dark knows that it is falling in its attempt. It has not included a plan to capitulate to the light if it does not win against the current of light, as the ego and false self have always led the dark, and always will until it moves to higher resonance in this universe. And so, the dark agenda continues to play out, as if its players do not notice the signs they have noticed, signs that the new Earth is already here, signs that millions are being called to remember their soul power while in a human body, and reclaim what they were born into this age to reclaim again. This explains the great rush being made by those playing the role of low-frequency intent toward insertion of artificial intelligence into the human body. And that is why the media and its technology are broadcasting signals of distress aimed exactly to alert and alarm those aspects of the human psyche that have been trained for millennia to respond with fear. The masses will do as they are told, in quotes, has been the reasoning of the dark realms and dark governmental structures, which quietly controls the visible governments that people see on a daily level. Of course, many are now realizing how deep the shadows go, and that in those shadows dwell people, energy forms and intentions that have no interest in keeping anyone safe. Unsettling times. Puffness said, "The unsettling times and energies that everyone is feeling are in fact quite real." He also feels similar intuitive hunches that things are changing, that it is time for the confrontations to start happening, and that the mischiefs are underway. The times are changing with plans to derail the avalanche of pain and anguish now shooting in all directions. Get ready for action very soon. We cannot tell you the day, nor could we even if we knew, but we also know that the final countdown is on, and that last-minute shifts and changes are being considered just to make sure. Nothing will happen with this program or any other program until the next phase is completed. Sit back and watch. Wait and add prayer energies to the good that must happen, the positive outcome you expect. There are things in the works that we would like to be able to share. Just trust us for now to be in tune with the measures to protect and evaluate each and every possible outcome. Trust doesn't imply passivity, since every human being has to fulfill his or her own mission and do his or her bit. You can doubt all you want, but we ask, what does that add to the progress that has been underway? Nothing. Nothing adds, of course. The least you can do is to stop taking away energies essential to the desired outcome. Nothing you can do personally will help you at this time. Accept positive energies and stop generating doubt and dissension. We cannot prevent what is needed for the great ones to act, but they will act when the time is right. Their removal and dismissal, or so it seems, would be due to stop civil outbursts. The dark side is divided. Stop being a negative resource and let it go. Let God do his thing and you do yours. Be patient, because you are on the winning side. Space travel. A soldier reveals secret space missions to Ganymede and the Moon, according to Dr. Michael Sala. JP has served for nearly 2 years in the Army and has come forward to give his first interview about secret military missions by an international space coalition to the Moon, Ganymede, and other places in the solar system. In this exclusive Exopolitics Today interview, JP discusses his background, why he decided to join the army for secret missions, why he met with different outside entities. He says that a group of newly arrived, highly evolved beings are having life-changing effects on the soldiers and others they come in contact with. Space tourism would put an end to flat Earth theory. A man in Scotland is hoping to raise enough money to send a proponent of the flat Earth theory into space, so he can see that the planet is really round. He has launched a crowdfunding campaign aimed at generating around $340,000 to secure a seat on a Virgin Galactic flight to space, when such trips begin later this year. Once enough people have seen the Earth's rounded shape from orbital altitude during rocket-powered tourist flights, perhaps the flat Earth theory will become a thing of the past. You will see that the Earth is not a tray held up by elephants perched on turtles. The flat Earth theory was promoted by the CIA to divide us and sow confusion among dissidents. The flat Earth is a cover for the hollow Earth. Moon rain. No wonder I feel so bad. Hundreds of moons hit my head every second. According to Alan Woodward, moons are everywhere. Unbeknownst to you, several hundred are hitting your head every second. These subatomic particles, created when cosmic rays entered the Earth's atmosphere, are harmless and quickly decay into groups of lighter particles. The Moon is a massive elementary particle that belongs to the second generation of leptons. It has a negative electric charge, like the electron, although its mass is 207 times greater than that of the electron, and its lifetime is somewhat longer than other unstable particles. It is associated with its corresponding antiparticle, the antimuon. It belongs to the second generation of leptons, together with the electron, which belongs to the first generation, and the tau, which belongs to third generation. The particles penetrate objects like X-rays do, making them useful to scientists who used moons to discover a hidden chamber in Egypt's Great Pyramid 4 years ago. Scientists also use phantom moons to map the internal structure of volcanoes, which could someday help predict dangerous eruptions, according to a paper published last week in Proceedings of the Royal Society. To create such maps, scientists measure how efficiently particles pass through a magma flowing through caverns, chambers, and rocky passages in volcanoes, then use that information to create geologic blueprints, according to Giovanni Leone, a geophysicist at the University of Atacama in Chile, a lead author of the study. The technique, known as tomography, may someday be the ultimate magma detection system. Leon told the New York Times, adding that the technique makes it possible to track magma movements that may precede an eruption. And that is all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.